Hi, this is Tracy Armstrong. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about your next level, about achievement, about how you can accomplish the success that you have in your heart. And, all of us have things that we're dreaming of, things that we want, things that we're hoping of. And the key is that you actually have to be bold enough to do it. You have to be a bold person to step out and to break that limit, break that barrier. I have this belief that we're always one level of fear away from our next level. And so if you can actually overcome fear, that next level of fear, you can actually step into the thing that you've been dreaming of. But you have to be bold. You have to be bold enough to actually say, you know what, today I'm going to make the decisions necessary. I'm going to do what's necessary to go into that next level. And there's some words that kind of identify boldness and courageous. Be strong and courageous. Be very strong and be very courageous. And then you will step into the promises, and you will inherit, and you will have prosperity everywhere you go. I think that's just amazing to know that if I just step into this next season with boldness, which is courage and strength. If I step into this next level with boldness, then I can accomplish. There's things that you want. There's things that you hope for. There's things that you've been believing for. There's things that you want with all your heart, with all your might. You dream of them. But what's keeping you back? What's keeping you from your next level? It's literally that next step, that one step of boldness. If you will just choose to be bold, choose to be that person that has courage today, that person that's going to be strong. I choose to be strong today. And these are choices. These are things that you make the decision to make it happen. I think often we look at someone who has made courageous and bold steps, and we say, wow, they must just be a bold person. But if you talk to them, they're in their mind, they're just doing what was necessary at the moment to get the desired end, the end that they want. That's what we do. That's how we become bold. That's how we become people who accomplish, is we just literally say, you know what, I want that. And I'm not willing to sit back and wait for it. I'm going to actually go and get it done. So I have these 4 principles that I want to just share with you real briefly. And I want to just share them with you because I believe that they will help you. I believe that they will help you step into this next level of boldness. And I'm going to use an acronym, BOLD, B-O-L-D. We're going to use that acronym just to give these principles to you. First of all, bigger is better. B. Bigger is better. If you realize that thinking bigger, doing bigger is better. Not shrinking back, not being small-minded, not being small in your heart, and not just trying to take mediocre steps, but big steps, big risk-taking steps. And I know not everybody listening to this is a risk taker, but if you just think bigger. Now, if you live in America, you know that bigger is better. We love bigger cars. We love bigger sandwiches. We supersize when we drive through the drive-thrus because we like bigger. And if you have just realized bigger we think you pay a huge price for bigger, but it doesn't mean you're paying a price that's different than what you would normally pay. There's probably only just a few stages, a few things that are a little bit different. I had someone say to me once when I was talking to them, he's a real estate investor, and I was talking to him about building and my desire to build 16 units apartment complex, 16-unit apartment complex. And he said to me, Tracy, why do you want to build 16 units? I said, well, just because this might be my first project. I want to step out and do it. And he says, well, there's no difference between building 16 units and 300 units. Why don't you just build 300 units? It's going to take the same amount of time, the same amount of energy that it's going to take to give yourself to 16 units. It's going to take that same amount of energy to give yourself to 300 units. Now, this is someone who is very successful, and they're accomplished in building units, and they build 300, 1,000 units. I mean, they build these complexes that are massive. And so I'm listening to someone who says, you know what, you're thinking too small. Why don't you supersize your thoughts? And if it's not going to take me any more energy to get there, it's not going to take me any more, the activities that I'm going to do to get 16, it's going to be the same activities that it takes for me to get to 300. Yet the profitability increases at 300, then why not do it? The only difference is I never thought of it. I wasn't thinking big enough. I was thinking 16. I was 16, well, that's better than 8, better than 4. But sometimes we just look at it and say, it's better than 8, better than 4, and we're not thinking actually, what if I just went to 500? Or 300. What if I just broke out of my limitation and decided I'm going to let's just go for it. Let's try something bigger. Let's say if you want to make $1 million this next year, what if you actually push the envelope a little bit in your thinking? You think bigger is better. Why don't I go for 2 million? Now the effort, you're immediately going to think, oh, I've got to put in twice the amount of effort. That twice the amount of effort, what that's going to do? It's actually you're going to be doing the same exact things, but you're going to actually work a little bit harder because you're thinking a little bit bigger, and you're going to have more confidence that you're going to actually get a million. So going for 2 million makes the million easy. So thinking bigger actually makes what you're really satisfied with, what you're really excited about, come easy. You dream big enough, you dream long enough on that 2 million, you're going to actually just give yourself to going after 2 million, and you're going to find yourself getting to the $2 million quicker. Maybe your thing is not $2 million. Maybe you want to build your house, or maybe you want to go on a vacation. Whatever it is, think bigger. Think bigger, because bigger is better. And when you think bigger, you think in terms that are just broader. For instance, a lot of people have a succession plan for their business, a succession plan for their families. And succession plan is just thinking about the future and thinking about the generations, and how do you prepare for them, and how do you get them prepared for the position. Well, in Japan, they are thinking so big. They think with 500-year succession plans. That means that they're thinking about someone's life who is not even born, who won't be born for many generations, yet they think it's important enough to give themselves to this kind of succession planning, that they're thinking out what kind of character should this person who has this position have, and they're planning the future based upon their ability to make that happen. I think that's amazing that they would have that kind of succession plan going on. Well, that's just because they're thinking bigger, just thinking on a larger scale. When you start to think about passing on to generations, it makes you think bigger. When you think about leaving an inheritance to your children's children, it makes you think bigger. When you think about leaving an inheritance to your children's children, it makes you think, well, I've got to accomplish this not only because I want to eat, not only because I want to live a certain way, it's because I want them to live a certain way. And then not only for my children, but for my children's children. Now I'm thinking on a very big scale. Can you imagine what it would be like for your children not to have to work for themselves? But they're now also thinking, because you had such big thoughts, they're also thinking, I need to make sure that I keep this inheritance going to where my children's children can live off of that. Now there's not a generation in your lineage thinking about themselves. They're all thinking about the children, grandchildren coming on. So my children won't have to work for their living. They have to work for the living of those that are coming forward. That's a pay it forward like I've never heard of. That's just amazing. And when we start to live with that kind of contribution, we live at another level. That's big thinking. So when you live at big thinking, when you live big in your mind and big in your heart, and you give yourself to an imagination every single day of what big looks like, what big thinking, what big thoughts, big life, big living is, you will give yourself to it. You'll start to gravitate to it, and it will start to gravitate to you. And it will be a wonderful thing, because you'll find yourself surrounded by people who think bigger, people who want bigger, people who want more. And I think that that's a beautiful life. If we all can think that way, live that way, that would be a beautiful life, to think bigger. The O of the bold is completely simple. It means you have to take ownership of the opportunities. There's a moment right now. Every day there's an opportunity. There's a research that says that every year each person has a $1 million thought, at least $4 million thoughts a year. That's a lot of thoughts. That just $4 million four thoughts that will make us $1 million each, and yet we don't take advantage of it. It's because we don't actually own the moment. We let it pass us by. We let it just go right on through. And if we just choose, you know what, I'm going to own this moment. I'm going to own this thought. I'm going to take responsibility of this moment. This is mine. I'm going to live this out. Even the opportunities that have come through the failures or the unfortunate circumstances of your life, those are opportunities that can make you a fortune if you actually owned it. If you owned it, instead of being someone who would blame or who would question whether or not someone is for you or someone's not for you, or is God involved? Is God not involved? Does he hate me? Are you mad at me? Someone's mad. If you would take this moment and own it, then you would get rid of a victim's mindset, and you could make anything happen from every moment that comes your way. It's just owning it. Oh, take the opportunity and make it happen. This is your responsibility to make something happen of this. This is something that you can do. This is something that you can make happen. We know that it's happened over and over and over and over. People from Gillette, people all around the world are taking advantage of these opportunities that don't look like opportunities. There's an opportunity in front of you, but it doesn't look like an opportunity. It may look like a tragedy. It may look like a horrible thing. It may look like something that is the end of something, but it could be the beginning. Or you can be the person that finds out that I can actually restore this. I'm someone that I really appreciate acquisitions. I appreciate acquisitions of businesses and acquisitions of buildings, especially things that are dilapidated, things that look like they're failing, because to me they look like an opportunity. For other people, they look like failure. And so how many things in your life that you've called failure that are literally opportunity? But if you take responsibility, someone's got to take responsibility. If you take responsibility and you don't blame someone else for what you don't have, but you say, this is an opportunity, you'll see the opportunity in it. And I believe that if you just have this mindset, there is something good of an equal value, equal benefit from this circumstance, and you look for it, God is going to help you find it. There's a way for you to find it, and you'll see it. Your eyes will open up to it, and I'm telling you, you will see the benefit in the circumstance. But you got to take responsibility of the opportunity. You got to live in this moment. Redeem the time. Redeem it. That means that something's trying to steal this moment from you, but buy it back. Redeem it back by making something good out of something that looks bad. You can do it. The next thing is L. L is a good one because it speaks of learning. I think one of the things that really has helped me is that whenever I have figured out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to accomplish, and then I would always hit a wall between what I want to accomplish and what I know. And often, and I've allowed it to happen to me really when I was younger, if I didn't know something, I would just say, well, I just don't know how to do it. I guess I just shouldn't do it. I guess it's not for me to do it. Later, I realized that everybody that is successful started off by not knowing how to do what they became successful at, so that they learned it. They learned the art of it. And when I first started and put myself through college, I started an espresso cart making business, an espresso business. And I moved from Seattle to California. And in Seattle, at the time, there was espresso carts everywhere, and people were making lots of money. And when I went down to California, there was no one had espresso carts. They didn't even have espresso machines that were like real espresso machines. They had a little push button and latte. Everything came out the same. It's not really an espresso. But you actually, when I went there, I saw an opportunity. I'm looking around. And at the time, I didn't drink coffee. I didn't like the taste of coffee. So I started to learn about coffee. I started to learn about the different roast and the different coffee beans and what is espresso, what is espresso grind, and what is a espresso machine. And I remember sitting with these people talking about an espresso coffee business, and I didn't have a clue about coffee at all. But I started to sip coffee, and I started to taste coffee, and I started to spend some time talking to them about coffee. And the next thing you know, I'm in business, and I'm making money. I'm putting myself through college because I chose to learn something that I didn't know, and it actually made me successful enough to where I could put myself through college and then go on and sell that business. So this is something that we can do. This is something we all can do. You can do it. If there's something you want, you just have to learn it. You just have to give yourself some time and invest. And I would say if you start reading, start reading. First thing I did, I started reading. Whatever it is, whatever I'm learning, even doing what I'm doing right now, I started reading. I remember when I wanted to first started, when people started to ask me to communicate to business leaders. Well, I'm like, I don't know anything about communicating to business leaders. So I started studying. I started studying what they wanted and what they should know and how to help them and what's the best way to help them. And the more I digested information, the more information I had to come out, and the more my circumstances and my experiences mingled into that, and my relationship with the infinite intelligence and their relationship with me. I mean, it just exploded. It just was really something magnificent. Well, but I gave myself to learning. If you give yourself to learning, you can expand your world. And don't make it an excuse that you don't know. Make it your job. If you don't know, now your job is to know, to learn, to discover. It can happen anywhere from music to educating to self-education, whatever it may be. But don't use what you don't know as your excuse. I challenge you in this season, learn what you don't know and give yourself to it. Learn what you don't know. If you don't know it, it's just an opportunity for you to learn it. And if you learn what you don't know, you will become someone that is really good at it. So if you give yourself to reading, and you say, well, I don't want to learn everything in political science or whatever it may be. Let's say you want to learn something about political science. Get 5 books on political science that you feel that are great books. You've researched them. They are proven to be good books. Go through there, read those books, pull out 2 or 3 things that are common in all of those 5 books. 2 or 3 things. There's going to be some things that are just kind of opinion, but there's going to be some foundational, fundamental things. When you see the fundamentals, you learn the fundamentals, you will actually become someone who can have some knowledge in that. You've now learned what it takes to be in that. And so as you grow, you can expand, whether that's in psychology, whether that's in engineering, whether that's in technology. It's getting those 3 books, those 5 books, getting the principles, those 3 fundamental principles in that. You've now learned what it takes to become that because you know the foundation. And if you practice foundation, you learn the foundation, you do the foundation, you're now well on your way to get it going. So that's the key to learning. Learning. Give yourself to learn. Become a lifetime learner. Every time you run into a wall, learn. Put yourself in a position to learn. Put yourself in a position to be teachable, and you'll be satisfied, very happy with the results that you give. If you just tackle every limit with that, I'm going to learn. Right? Now, the last is D. It's very simple. D is decide. You want to make sure you're a person who's deciding. Now, we often think that because we started off with dreaming big, dreaming of what's going to happen in this opportunity, dreaming so much that I'm going to learn, we think that that's the keys. Dreaming. Dreaming is a huge aspect of it, but dreams never come true. It's the decisions that you make based upon the dreams. The motivator is your dream. The dream motivates you. The dream gives you your why. The dream gives you the tenacity to push through everything. But the fact is, it's your decision that makes it come to pass. And every day you wake up with that decision. I'm going to decide. I'm going to decide. I'm going to decide. I'm making a decision today. I'm going to make this happen. And when you decide, you're going to actually do it. That's what the courage and that's what the strength is. It's all decisions that are being put out. It's where your energy comes from. Now, you're going to get energy from your dreaming, but you're going to have to exert that energy with your decision. I'm going to decide to work out every day. I'm going to decide to eat less every day. I'm going to whatever it is. Make that decision. And when you make the decision, that's when your dreams are going to come true. There's a quote I wanted to read. It says, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Genius, power, and magic are in it. I want you to just think about that. Whatever you can do, whatever you dream you can do, begin it. Just start it. Make the decision. Go for it. I believe in you. That's why I'm doing this video. I'm not doing this video for me. I'm doing it for you. I believe in you. Begin it. When you start, you'll find out the genius is there. Power is there. And magic is there. I mean, the miracle is right there. And this is the season you're going to make miracles happen because you're deciding. Make the decision. Live with the decision. If it doesn't work, then turn around, do it all over again. Dream big. Go ahead and own the opportunity. Well, it didn't work the last time I did it. Well, own it. Own it by going back and say, well, what can I do differently? Where can I change? And what's different? Where did I miss it? I mean, that's learning. Then that's the aspect of learning. Then what didn't I get? What didn't I see when I first started? Then you learn, and then you decide again. Wow, it didn't come out, but I'm closer. Be bold. Be courageous. If you do that, I guarantee you're going to be happy with the results. It just takes your decision making. And you decide. Don't let fear stand in the way. You're one fear away from your next level. You're one fear away from your breakthrough. And if you will have courage and you will be strong and you'll be bold and you don't give up and you don't stop and you keep on going until you accomplish your dreams, I'm telling you, you're going to see it. You're going to live it. Your children are going to live it. Your children's children are going to live it. And I don't know what age you're in, but whatever age you are, it's not too late. You could be 100 years old listening to this. I'm telling you, it's not too late. There's still a dream. You're breathing, there's still a dream. You're breathing, there's still something big. There's an opportunity. There's something to learn and there's something to decide to do. And if you will give yourself to it, man, you'll be happy. You have the quality of life you've always wanted, and you'll have the success and the achievement that you desire the most. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Make it happen.